In this video, we will discuss the top 20 technical interview questions which are commonly asked to the mechanical engineers, either fresher or experience. So the very first question, what is the difference between jig and fixture? This question can be asked to the candidates which are facing the interview related to production field. So the difference between jig and fixture. First point, jig hold, locate as well as guide the cutting tool, whereas fixture hold and position the work but does not guide the tool. So this is the basic difference in between jig and fixture. Jig hold, locate as well as guide the cutting tool. It guides the cutting tool, whereas fixture do not guide the cutting tool. It only holds and position the workpiece. Second difference, the jig are made lighter for quicker handling and clamping with the table. Fixture, the fixtures are heavier in construction and are bolted rigidly on the machine table. Generally, the fixture are fixed to the machine table and then the machining is done, whereas the jig, they are made lighter for quicker handling and clamping with the table. Third difference, jigs are used for holding the work and guiding the tool, particularly in drilling, reaming or tapping operations. The fixtures are employed for holding the work in milling, grinding, planing or turning operation. So this is the difference in between jig and fixture. Next question, what is the difference between production engineering and industrial engineering? Very basic question. The answer is, production engineering basically includes the study of manufacturing processes, metallurgy and metrology, whereas the industrial engineering deals with the operation research and time and motion study. Second difference, production engineering helps to find better manufacturing process, whereas industrial engineering try to optimize that process. Third difference, production technique concern only about the quality of the product, while an approach is to increase the productivity and maximize the profit. Basically, industrial engineering involves cost estimation, unlike the production engineering. Then, the production engineering, its approach is towards technical, whereas the industrial engineering, its approach is towards management. Next question, how did you reduce the downtime and increase the production? So this question can be asked to the experienced candidate, particularly in the field of production. So how did you reduce the downtime and increase the production? So the probable answer is, we can increase and improve the staff communication. So whatever the communication in between the member of the team, that we can improve and through which we can increase the production. Then by holding the regular staff evaluations. So everyone's performance must be monitored, and that can be monitored by holding the regular staff evaluations. Then set specific manufacturing plant goals. So if you set a particular goal, so definitely you will work to reach to that point. So, and with this strategy you can improve or you can increase the production. Then conduct regular manufacturing equipment maintenance. This is very important. So regular maintenance should be done. Regular equipment maintenance should be done, because with faulty equipment you cannot improve the productivity of your department. Then upgrade your manufacturing equipment. This is also very important. So with the time, what happens, the machine are getting outdated. So you have to upgrade your manufacturing equipments. Then create a new technology plan for your manufacturing plant. Again, time to time you have to change your strategy so as to reduce the downtime and increase the production. Next question, state the difference between the manufacturing and services. So the manufacturing, it is concerned with the production or manufacturing of good. So the manufacturing is concerned with production and manufacturing of goods, whereas the service is concerned with providing services. Then manufacturing is the output of the manufacturing is tangible. That means you can touch the product. That is known as tangible. The thing where you can touch, that is known as tangible. So the output of the manufacturing is tangible, whereas the output of the service is not tangible. It is intangible. You cannot touch it. Suppose you are going to the hotel, and hotel is providing some service to you, so you cannot touch it because it's not a product. They are giving you service, so that is intangible. Then next, there is less consumer contact. So in the field of manufacturing, there is less consumer contact. So if you are working in a production department, then the people around you will be your colleagues only. So there is very less consumer contact. Whereas in service, there is more consumer contact. Okay, so the same example, if you are going to the hotel, so the hotel staff is dealing with you. That means they are dealing with the customer directly. Whereas in manufacturing, that is not happening. The manufacturing department is not dealing with the customer directly. Then there is easiness in quality control. So in case of manufacturing, all the parameters are available, all the parameters are standard, and that is why there is easiness in quality control. Whereas in services, in this, quality control is difficult. Next, capacity planning is easily possible. In case of manufacturing, you can easily plan the capacity. So capacity planning is easily possible, whereas it is difficult in case of services. Then the intensive capital is required in case of manufacturing. It is capital intensive. Okay, you have to invest the money in case of manufacturing, because you have to purchase new machineries, materials, and then you have to employ the people. Then you can get the manufacturing output. So it is capital intensive. Whereas services, it is labor intensive. So mostly you have to employ the people only to serve them. Okay, so it is labor intensive. Manufacturing, it takes a long lead time. So lead time is nothing but the time interval from the point where you got the order to the point where you deliver the service. That is nothing but lead time. So here the manufacturing takes long lead time, whereas service, short lead time. So the same example I will take. When you go to the hotel, immediately you are getting the service. So after booking the room, you are starting getting service, right? So it has a short lead time. Then products quality stored. So here what's happened? So you can easily measure the quality of the product. Here it is not measured, it is difficult. So the quality, whatever quality has been given by that hotel staff, it is difficult to measure. It varies person to person. Whereas in manufacturing industry, your product is fixed, right? So you can easily judge its quality in terms of various parameter like its dimensions, the surface roughness. So with all these parameter, you can easily judge the quality of that product. Whereas in services, it is very difficult to measure the quality of the services. Next question: how will you improve the quality during production? So this can be the question to the experienced candidate, that is, how will you improve the quality during production? So the probable answers are: define quality standards. So we will define the quality standards and your product should match with that quality standard. Then train employees. This is very important. So time to time you have to train your employees, because as the technology is changing, so your employee should be updated with that technology. Let the technology help the processes. That means you will upgrade your equipments, or you can use advanced technology so that you will be getting a good quality product. Then upgrade equipment where needed. So whenever the upgradation is possible, you will upgrade the equipment. Suppose you are working with the conventional lathe machine, obviously you will be not getting a very good quality product. So there is a chance of improvement, updation. So you can upgrade that machine with the help of CNC lathe. So ultimately you will be getting good quality product. Then create a response plan. So whenever any breakdown happens or whenever any problem happen at the shop floor, your response plan should be ready. And with this you can improve the quality during the production. Next question: how do you maintain discipline on the floor as a production engineer? So if you are facing the interview of production engineer, then this is very important question for you. How do you maintain discipline on the floor as a production engineer? So the probable answer are good communication with the worker. So if you maintain a good communication with the worker, then it is easy to maintain a discipline also. Daily production target. So you will give them a daily production target, so they will not get an extra time for chit chat, okay, or for any indisciplinary activity. So by giving a daily production target, make them busy with their work. Then strict action against the undisciplined worker. This is also very important. So if any undisciplinary action happens at the shop floor, you will take a strict action against it, so that you can set an example for other worker also that this could be happen if you behave in indisciplined manner. Next question. How do you install the new machines and layout preparation as a production or process engineer? So the answer is process planning. So you will follow the process plan, and according to that you will install the new machine. So process plan is very important. So in process plan is nothing but the list of operation that you are going to carry out over the product. So according to that process plan, you can set the various machines, or you can set up the plant layout. Then layout of the plant, that also you will consider during installing the new machine. Then arrangement of the machine according to the process, right? So this deals with the product layout. So depending on the various processes required over that product, you will set the various machines, and accordingly there will be a manufacturing. Then maintain distance between the machine. This is also very important. So, and then safety during the work. Okay, so safety, that also you have to consider during the working. Next question. How to reduce cycle time of the process? This can be the question to the experienced as well as fresher candidate. That is, how to reduce the cycle time of the process. So the answer is replace old machine with the new one. So obviously, if you replace the old machine with the new one, you can reduce the cycle time, because the new machine is with new technology. So obviously it will take very less time to manufacture. Then use good quality of tool, coolant and raw material. This is also very important. So you have to use very good quality tools, coolant and raw material. Then training to the workers. So you will train your worker with the new technology. And then the time study report. This is also very important. So with this you can reduce the unnecessary movement at your shop floor, reduce the unnecessary movement of the worker, their hand movements, and with this you can reduce the cycle time of the process. Next question. What is the difference between lean manufacturing and JIT? So first of all, we will discuss the advantages of just in time. So reduce inventory. This is the biggest advantage of just in time. So whenever the inventory is required, that time only you will call, and then you will install it or you will assemble it. That is known as that is the benefit of just in time. Then reduce work in progress. So as there is less inventory, there will be less work in progress. Neither too early, neither too late. This is the principle on which the just in time work. Then advantages of lean manufacturing, that is reduce waste. So lean manufacturing focused on the reduction of waste, increase productivity. So ultimately you will get a good productivity, improved efficiency, improved customer value. Then the action areas in just in time: develop people by increasing their skill. So the focused on the development of the skill. Then optimize material handling and production flow. Eliminate multiple locations, reduce changeover times, reduce lot size. Whereas the action areas of lean manufacturing: redesign the manufacturing system, reduce the machine shop, integrate a pull system, control inventory, implement a vendor program. So these are the action areas under lean manufacturing. Next question. Differentiate between vernier caliper and micrometer. So I request you just to download the two images, that is vernier caliper and micrometer, and then go through this video. So in terms of accuracy, the micrometer provides higher accuracy level when compared to vernier caliper. So accuracy of micrometer is greater than the vernier caliper. It's at higher level. The least count of vernier caliper stands at 0.1 mm, whereas the least count of micrometer stands at 0.01 mm. Then the vernier caliper is a pipe wrench like instrument, while the micrometer resembles the shape of an axe. Then vernier caliper is used for measuring both internal and external distances. This is very important. Vernier caliper is used for measuring internal as well as external dimensions or the distances, whereas micrometer can be used for taking external measurement only. You can measure external dimensions only with the help of micrometer. Then vernier caliper measures with the help of sliding scale. So there is a sliding scale with the help of which you can measure the dimensions, whereas the micrometer measures with the help of rotating scale. There is a rotating scale in the micrometer. So this is the difference in between vernier caliper and the micrometer. Next question, what are the type of production system? So we can classify the production system broadly into category, that is continuous system and intermittent system. Continuous system means you are getting your production continuously, that is known as continuous system. So the type of continuous system, that is mass production, process production, assembly line. Intermittent system, that means you are getting your product not in a regular interval, and it is further classified into job production and batch production. Next question, state the difference between product and process layout. So in product layout, it is a sequential arrangement of the activities. So suppose you are manufacturing a specific product, and that product requires different operation. So according to that operation, you will set your machine. So that is known as sequential arrangement of activities. Process layout, it is functional grouping of activities. So in process layout, what happens? Depending on the functions, the machines are arranged, right? So all the lathe machine will be at one place, all milling machine will be at another place, then there will be a drilling shop, there may be a grinding shop. So depending on the function of the machine, you will arrange the machine. Whereas in product layout, what happen? Suppose one product require turning operation at the first, second operation suppose milling, third operation is suppose drilling. In that case, you will arrange the machine like first there will be a lathe machine, at second location there will be a milling machine, and at third location there will be a drilling machine. So depending on the requirement, you will arrange the machine. That is known as product layout. Whereas in process layout, the machines are arranged according to their function. Then the type of process. So the product layout, it is a continuous process and it is suitable for mass production. So once the first operation is complete, your product will visit to next machine. After that, next machine. So that is known as the continuous layout and it is suitable for mass production. Whereas in process layout, what happen? It is an intermittent activity. So it is suitable for job production. Okay. So why it is suitable for job production? Because in job production, the processes are not fixed. So whatever process is required, your product will go to that shop, and then that process will be carry out over that product. Okay. So then it is a standardized process. Okay. So process layout, it is varied process. So other points are also mentioned. I request you please go through it. Otherwise this video will be of long duration. Next question, what is QMS? So answer is, a quality management system is a collection of business processes focused on consistently meeting customer requirement and enhancing their satisfaction. It is aligned with an organization purpose and strategic direction. Next question, what is work in progress versus work in process? Okay, so two things are there, work in progress, work in process. So the answer is, work in progress is a cost of unfinished good in the manufacturing process. Work in progress is nothing but the cost of unfinished good. Work in process. The work in process is the term used to describe partially completed good, which are typically turned from the raw material to the finished product within a short period. The figure of both work in progress and work in process are listed on a company's balance sheet. Next question, state the factor which affect the manufacturing cost. So the factors are labor cost, raw material cost, part complexity, tooling, volume, precision. These are the factors which affects the manufacturing cost. Next question, what is bill of material? So the bill of material is a centralized source of information containing a list of items used to manufacture a product and the instruments on how to do so. Often shown in a hierarchical way, a bill of material list the finished product is at the top, down to individual component and the material. Bill of material can be presented as an explosion display or an implosion display. The two main type of bill of materials are there, that is manufacturing bill of material and engineering bill of material. Next question, what is Kanban? Kanban is a workflow management method for defining, managing and improving services that deliver knowledge work. It aims to help you visualize your work, maximize efficiency and improve continuously. The Kanban method helps you gradually improve the delivery of your product and services. It does so by helping you eliminate bottleneck in your system, improve flow, reduce cycle time. It helps you deliver more continuously and get faster feedback to make any changes that may be needed by your customer. Next question, what is 5S? So 5S is nothing but a Japanese philosophy. There are 5 Japanese words. That is why it is known as, all those words are started with S. So hence it is known as 5S. So the first word, that is Seri. Seri means sorting. So whatever at your shop floor, it must be sorted. Then Siton. Siton means straighten. Okay. After that, the next word, that is Sisu. It means shine. Your shop floor must be shine. That means it must be clean at all time. Then Siketsu. Siketsu means standardize. So whatever activity you are doing, it must be standardized, and every time you have to follow those instructions. And then the last word, that is Shizuke. Shizuke means sustain. So whatever changes you have made, it should be permanent. There should be a discipline. Okay. So if any change happens at the shop floor, it should not happen that it is for only for 1 week or 1 month. Permanently you have to follow those processes. So that is under sustain. That is the 5th word. Next question, what is heat treatment? The answer is, heat treatment process is a series of operation involving heating and cooling of metal in the solid state. Its purpose is to change the mechanical property or combination of mechanical properties so that metal will be more useful, serviceable and safe for defining purpose. By heat treating, a metal can be made harder, stronger and more resistant to impact. Heat treatment can also make a metal softer and more ductile. Next question, what are the steps in Kaizen? This is the last question of this video. What are the steps in Kaizen? Kaizen is also a Japanese philosophy. It's a Japanese word. Kaizen means change for the betterment. That is known as Kaizen. So here you can see the 6 steps involved in the Kaizen. So first of all, you have to identify the problem, then analyze the current process, then create the solution, test those solution, measure and analyze the result, and then standardize the solution. That is nothing but the steps involved, the 6 steps involved in Kaizen. So these are the 20 important questions that might be asked to the mechanical engineering candidate, either fresher or experience. I hope this video will be useful for you whenever you are dealing with the interview. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.